This episode is sponsored in part by PTZ Optics. Why hire a camera operator when the control is in your hands? Visit ptzoptics.com for more information. And by NewTek, makers of the TriCaster TC1. Stun your viewers, not your accountant. Visit newtek.com for more information.
Hey guys, it's Friday, so it's time for the Retro Buzz, and we've got a humdinger of a show for you today. Joined with me, as always, we've got Mr. Glenn Planamento.
It's RG, the Game Genie.
That's right. I couldn't remember what you called it last week. I was trying to remember what you called it. I forgot.
Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It's Gaming Friday. Thank God.
He's all set and ready to go. Also, we've got with us Mr. Douglas Smith. Welcome, sir.
I just want to point out the fact that Glenn has not one, not two, but 3 illuminated Tron sticks behind him, as well as 2 Star Wars flight yokes, all within the immediate vicinity of him. Just throwing that out there.
I'm a little bit of a fan of good Star Wars films and Tron.
You are clearly a man of a very wide set of tastes. Let's put it that way. He likes what he likes.
He likes what he likes. Yeah.
I'm ashamed.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to hear his responses to some of the stories that we've got today, because I have a feeling it's going to get hot and heated in here.
Yeah. All you have to do is say Star Wars, and Glenn's blood pressure starts.
Yep. And Glenn's going to be like, that's not Star Wars. That's not Star Wars.
I'm going to tell you, I love The Mandalorian. So far, I am not a fan of Boba Fett at all. I'm really finding that to be a bit of a disappointment.
Why? Please enlighten us.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you, Boba Fett, the Mandalorian character is really what I would picture Boba Fett being. And the Boba Fett character is trying to turn him into this kind, thoughtful, honorable guy. He's a friggin' bounty hunter that disintegrated you for looking at him wrong. Darth Vader says no disintegrations, and he's sitting there this little alien guy, a Greedo wannabe. He's like, listen, just I'll get you out of here. He's like, wah, wah, and gets him trapped, and he doesn't kill him for that. Come on. What are we doing? Is Kathleen Kennedy still getting a hand in this, or what?
She probably. I mean. What about you guys in the chat room? Have you watched Boba Fett, and what is your thoughts with it? I will say, they brought Boba Fett out for Fortnite. You can actually get the character. Yeah. So at this point, I know they were hyping. Well, they were hyping it up pretty good. So I'm really surprised that you're not liking the series.
I enjoy Boba Fett from Empire and the Mystique. I did like in the first. If people hadn't seen the first episode, I'm sorry. They showed him coming out of the Sarlacc pit. I kind of enjoyed that. I'm like, cool, all right, good. But then from there, he became basically a diaper, a wet diaper.
Doug, save us here. Come on, give us the real.
So just to summarize, basically the internet / grown men of America and the rest of the world are all upset because the character they grew up idolizing, who only had 7 lines of freaking dialogue in the entire trilogy, got bounced off the side of a sail barge and got eaten by a freaking sarlacc, isn't as badass as they dreamed he was in his mind. Because let's face it, he didn't really do anything badass in the original trilogy. He looked badass. He had some badass weapons and everything, but he's literally known for flying around in the background like this with his jetpack out of control, bouncing off the side of a freaking Jabba's sail barge and then getting eaten. I don't know why you guys thought he was the greatest bounty hunter ever, because clearly Mando is who you guys all envisioned Boba Fett was going to be in your mind, but in reality he's not. It's two separate people. So
well, no, he was. It's until Kathleen Kennedy stuck her claws into the character. Ruined him. Ruined.
Anyways, it basically just boils down to people had their own preconceived ideas of what the character was without any really justification, because it's really just a bunch of grown.
There were plenty of.
Or you going to say the expanded universe that doesn't count? Yeah, see, the stuff that doesn't count, the fan fiction.
And why? And why is that? Kathleen Kennedy, right there.
No, it's because they gave George Lucas a $4 billion check to piss off. And basically, why would you take everybody else's ideas when you can create your own? Otherwise, you got to
They're
pay
not.
licensing and royalties to all those people that came before you with those stories. That doesn't make business sense.
There's drunk toddlers who write better storylines that's happening so far on this show.
Oh my!
They are the WWE writers' room. That's who you're referring to.
I'll be honest. I haven't watched it yet. I'm waiting until it's over and then I can binge it when I get some time.
If it makes season 2, I'll be surprised.
Well, I mean, when season 1's over, then I'll binge it because what's going to happen is I start to watch it, right? And I go, oh, this is great. And I can't wait for the next episode. And then I forget the next episode's there. And then I have to binge it anyways. So it's just better off that I just wait till it's over and then my wife and I will binge it. But I will say, The Mandalorian got stale for me. It's
I'm about to just like
it's a slow go.
Quit this show. I can't stand either one of you guys right now. Talking about The Mandalorian is too slow. It's a slow burner. Glenn's over there. Boba Fett, is it bad enough for me? I mean,
not bad enough. He's completely out of character. He's totally. It's like Luke in the sequel trilogy. He's not in his character. I will say though, episode 5 of Boba Fett is great, but when you watch it, you'll know why. If you haven't seen it.
Sorry,
Doug's agreeing. I saw the head shake. Doug agrees.
It is great. Absolutely, no one's going to disagree with you. It's a great episode.
All right, only 5.
I mean, look,
only 5.
But I'm also the same guy who still has never watched the whole Lord of the Rings because I fall asleep halfway through it because that's how boring it is. So
come on.
Take it with a grain of salt. No, I'm just not into that type of. I'm just not into those types of movies. I've never.
Did you grow up watching Strawberry Shortcake? Was that your cup of tea, Steven?
No.
Strawberry Shortcake? Was that your show?
No. I just
Gem and the Holograms. Was that your show?
No, I don't know why. I'm just not into anything that's like medieval times. Forget it. You lose me. Like I don't care if you said like Braveheart was the only one that I ever watched that I was like, okay, that was decent. But I don't watch. Yeah, you'll never see me watch like medieval stuff. I don't even play medieval video games.
I'll tell you right now. Right now, does Boba suck? Is my poll deadlocked 50-50 right now? 50-50.
It's also not over, so like let it finish, and then you can judge the book when it's completed.
Conti says,
"Judge the Boba Fett book."
Wait. Conti says, "I agree with Doug. A lot of whining." Hey, I resemble that remark. Okay.
Oh,
how do you know I got wine in here?
There's a lot of 50-year-old dudes out there with a sweet Boba Fett tattoo on their shoulder that are just so upset right now because Boba Fett isn't tearing people's arms off and burning them to a crispy critter.
But he never did that in the actual movies.
Exactly. But
So
in their mind, he did.
Why would Darth Vader tell him, no disintegrations? Unless he was disintegrating people. Mandalorian was disintegrating people. When he was shooting people with his gun, that was Boba Fett. They told him.
Okay, well we're gonna have to
moving on.
Yeah, we're gonna move on.
Moving on.
We're gonna move on, guys. We can get into some video game news.
Okay, so since we're talking about Star Wars, I guess we should continue on with the topic at hand. Big news came out about Star Wars related to video games is that Electronic Arts and Lucasfilm, they announced 3 new Star Wars games are going to be in development / already are in development, which is a big news for multiple reasons. Number one was this, I believe, was the year that the exclusivity deal between EA and Lucasfilms was set to expire. It's been a 10-year deal, so it's been a very long time since anybody else in the game development world had got a chance to make a Star Wars game. And a lot of people thought that deal was going to expire and there was going to be somebody else, making Star Wars games. Well, there is, but EA's not going away just yet. They've announced that they're going to make, yet again, another Star Wars Jedi series, so the same creators behind the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Great game. If you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it. They're also going to make a new first-person shooter. Clearly, they've made 2 before, the Battlefront series. The first one was great. The second one was just a loot box, pay-to-play BS fiasco. I mean, all you have to do is basically Google it and you'll find all sorts of issues with everybody hating that game and bailing on it because of all the loot box and the pay to play crap that they were trying to shove down everybody's throat. And they're also going to be making a Star Wars strategy game, whatever that turns into. We don't know. I don't know if it's going to be something like real-time strategy, Final Fantasy Tactics type thing with Star Wars characters, or what that looks like. But either way, getting 3 new games from the Star Wars universe. At least one of them is going to be a continuation of the Star Wars Jedi franchise, which, like I said, the first one was great, so I'm excited about that. First-person shooter, that's an easy seller as long as they don't make the same mistakes they did with the Battlefront 2 game. And this strategy game, we'll see.
So let me ask you, you mentioned about Battlefront 2. Did you not like Battlefront 2?
I liked it, and like I said, it was my issue was when they were having all the loot box things.
Oh,
like,
okay,
hey, you gotta pay
but the
to unlock
gameplay
this to get this gun, or
Right,
hey,
right.
if you pay $10, you'll get this gun that nobody else gets, and just stupid crap like
Except
that.
for the people
No,
who buy it. No one else gets
Yeah.
it. Then someone else buys it.
But honestly,
Then
though,
they got it.
that's
Exactly.
the way a lot of the games are going. Like you have like Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. You have to do that. You have to do that with Call of Duty. You have to do it with
Whose fault is
Fortnite.
that?
You have to do. I mean, that's the way the
Whose
games
fault
are
is that?
going.
Whose fault is that?
it is
people
the
who
players that
spend
are
the money.
willing to pay.
I
Mhm.
get it.
That's right.
I get it.
That's right.
I get it.
No
I'm
one's
not.
fault for your own.
But I did think the gameplay in Battlefront 2, I have it for Xbox One and then I have it for the PS4. I thought it was really good. And we have
Yeah.
the VR version, the VR, what is it? What is it? I forget the one for where you're flying in the X-wing and it makes you sick in like 5 minutes from
Mhm.
being in VR. Even
Yeah.
my son got nauseous and he can sit there with VR. He's like, "Dad, this is making me nauseous." It's that realistic in VR. I digress. It was still a good game.
Yeah, I mean, it was after they realized the error of their ways, and the community, basically came at them with pitchforks and torches, and they had to kind of backpedal and backtrack and remove a lot of the loot boxes and things they had tried to force and implement into the game. But it just never recovered after that. I mean, there was so much of that happened right around the launch that so many people canceled their pre-orders, returned the game, things like that. There's a really funny, I don't want to say famous because that's misrepresenting, but a meme that was actual screenshot of a chat between I think it was like the EA people and somebody wanting their money back, and basically it's like, hey, can I ask you why you're returning the game? And it just basically says, oh, I think you know why. And they said, fair enough, and that's all it took. It's all it took. All you gotta do is say, oh, I think you know why. That's how many people had just lit them up over the loot box fiasco.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why it's not in everybody's
Mhm.
wheelhouse, I guess you could say. I don't know. Glenn doesn't pay for anything, so
No. I
He-
stopped paying for women a long time ago too. So
he buys
Yeah.
video game systems. They sit in a box in a bag and doesn't.
well, I do buy those. They say in a bag.
I s-
And I'm so happy I found a new supermarket. Doesn't know who I am. More bags.
we're
Mhm.
Doug. We got to get him one of the new systems. I think we can convert Glenn to the new way of thinking.
We'll see.
I
I
will-
mean, like I said,
No.
he's got 3 Tron joysticks behind him and 2 arcade flight yokes. So, I mean, diversity is not something that's really his strong suit.
Firebomb says, I bought it because of my love for the first one, but the loot box thing, I never came
Yeah,
back.
I mean,
Burn me once.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like once you start to
Yeah.
enable companies like that, say, okay, I'll deal with it because it's Star Wars and I love Star Wars. Then it just snowballs, and next thing you know, you're paying $5.99 every month for some stupid ability that should have been part of the game to begin with.
Kongs R Us says, I'm sorry, Papa Brad's Gaming says, Kongs R Us built me my dream Star Wars home arcade. I have Trilogy and Battle Pod at home right now.
Mhm.
What does the artwork look like? Because that's going to determine to Glenn if it's the ultimate Star Wars arcade.
Oh yeah, it's important.
He needs
It's
to know.
important. Kongs knows well enough, and everyone knows well enough, that not to put that stuff that's going to be eventually wiped out of existence. 7, 8, 9.
So your average gamer in the chat says, but make sure it's the digital version only for Glenn. Because that's what he prefers.
I used to like him. Why? Come on.
Keo Dykin says, "What's up? What's going on, man?"
What's up, Keo?
Juan is here. Juan says, I want to see how WWE 2K22 is going to be. I hope they didn't ruin it like 2K20.
Yeah.
They had.
I'm
2 years
also
to do it.
curious about that because they have
Yep.
yet to reveal the actual gameplay.
Yep.
I mean, the game's
A little
supposed to come out in
scary.
like what, a couple of weeks or something like that. And it's all like, hey, we spent 2 years on this. We're coming off like one of the worst games of all time.
Can I
We're
ask?
still not showing you the gameplay.
Can I
always
ask
a
a
good sign.
Reminds me of movie
stupid?
trailers.
Can I ask a stupid question for the wrestling fans out there? And the reason I want to ask this is, of all the superstars that you have, and I get it, everybody loves Rey Mysterio, but why on earth did you put him on the cover of WWE 2K22? Is that just
'Cause
like a
he's-
hint that he's going to win the Royal Rumble tomorrow? Is that like a
he's
hint?
recognizable?
But of all the superstars, why would you not
'Cause
like
he's the
put
most
Brock
recognizable.
Lesnar on there, or why wouldn't you put, you know, somebody that's Roman Reigns? He's the longest reigning champion. Why would you not put him on there?
I don't know.
You want to sell these, right? I mean, Rey Mysterio is past his prime, in my opinion.
It would take a lot to sell me that game, period, just because of the history and the track record of how bad those games have been in the past.
I'm waiting for the AEW one. From what I've seen with that, I really want that one. Sorry WWE. I don't know. He's the showcase mode. I did see that there was a rumor that there was going to be an NWO cover that was supposed to be coming out, so I was kind of holding off.
Yeah,
where it has the
if you
retro...
pay for the the deluxe super edition with
whatever
pre-order bonus.
Come on. You know you bought it. Don't sit there and deny that you didn't buy it.
Oh, 100%. I did not. Like I said, it goes back to that whole, hey, pay $5.99 for something that should have been in the game to begin with type of thing. No, hell no.
Come on. Well, either way, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see what happens here. With this going. I get it. Some people don't like the loot box stuff. I don't mind either way. There's certain items I like to buy, and if people don't want to buy them, that's fine. You're free to do whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
So what do we got next on the docket?
Just don't force it on the consumers. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah,
Give
you
me
don't have to.
options.
No, it's like anything
You never
else.
force it.
It should be options. There's always options are good, right?
Yep. Yep. So we talked about this earlier in the year, summertime when this got announced. The original ETA was before Christmas, and we all said then absolutely not. There's no way, chance in hell that it was ever going to hit that, deadline with everything that was going on with shipping and parts and all this stuff. Well, hey, guess what? We were right. So shocking to absolutely nobody on that one, but it is finally coming out. It is going to be able to start filling early pre-orders on February 25th, start shipping out on the 27th. So this time next month, people will first finally, if you were, in one of those early waves of the pre-orders, so to speak, you'll get a chance to get the Stream Deck. I'm not sure how many people are out there interested in this. I think a lot of like the fervor on this has kind of died down just because it was like, hey, hype, and then like 4.5 months of, yeah, we don't know when it's going to come out.
Can you still pre-order? Can you still pre-order this?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean,
did you pre-order it?
You could. I am in what is it? One of their queues to have the chance to pre-order it. Let's put it that way.
Oh, so even if you pre-order it, you may not get a chance to buy it, but they take your money.
You get a chance, but it just like all you had to do is put like basically a $5 down. Hey, put me in line type of thing. That's what you're seeing on the screen right there.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like a $5 hold my spot in line, and then when your spot comes up, they say, "Hey, do you want this? Yes or no? If you do, pay up front," type of thing.
See, this is saying June 21st, so that means they must be backlogged. So if you pre-order
that's
now,
when it was announced. Yeah, that's when I got.
Oh, I'm sorry, I saw 2021. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the ability to basically play more powerful PC games and a portable functionality. I mean, it's Nintendo Switch on steroids, is which most people have equated this system to, but it's got dual HDMI out. It's basically a functional mini PC, so to speak, in handheld form. Is it going to be the top tier gaming PC? No, of course, it'll have its limitations. But as far as a portable device, it'll be the strongest thing out on the market today. Price point, it's one of those honeydew type of things where they show you an attractive price point at the bottom tier, and then like you accessorize it and add more memory, and you want this or that. Next thing you know, it's $700. So it's one of those things where the price point kind of is a little bit misleading, because if you really want it to perform the way and last for years to come, so to speak, you're gonna go all in with the memory and like the glass front and things like that to keep it, in tip-top shape.
I see that comment there from this guy Michael B, the Game Genie, but my name's actually RG, the Game Genie. So I know the other guy, that RGT guy. I think he's been around a little bit longer than me, but that's okay. This is GT, the Game Genie, buddy.
While we're on Glenn, there's also a comment for you from Firebomb.
You know what? I actually might. I'm actually contemplating two things. That's one, but I'm also contemplating getting a good VR unit. I really want to play that Vader game. I mean, I've been drooling over that Darth Vader game.
Vader Immortal.
Vader in my background. Yeah, you can see Vader
Yeah.
in the background right there. I have that poster of my this side over here. There. My neighbor got me, and I love Darth Vader, and I've heard such good things about it. But I understand they're coming out with a newer model, possibly a little more powerful.
Oh,
so I'm
yeah.
just waiting to see if so I'm just waiting for that model to come out, and I'll probably drop the money on it. And I'll play it right at the top of my stairs, at the lisp of the stairs, so I can be the first person to sue them falling down the stairs and saying there wasn't enough, warnings.
Rumor has it, though, they're working on ways of developing the lenses so that you don't get motion sickness. And that part of that is in the technology. That's why people are getting motion sickness. That they said as the newer ones come out. That was one thing I was reading in the article with Sony, because they're going to be coming out with the VR2 for the PS5. I mean, I know you can play your PS4 one on it, but they're coming out with one that's specifically for the PS5. And I thought that was really interesting that they could make it to where you don't sit there and get like nauseous.
It's all about the refresh, but also how quickly it moves to you. When you're moving your head, there's a very small lag in that. The sensor has to do it. So the quicker the refresh and the quicker it is to respond to your movements should alleviate the nausea. It really should. And that's a NASA thing. That's NASA tech.
Yeah. It's also a person-to-person type of thing because everybody's different. Everyone's a little more susceptible to motion sickness, car sickness. Not everybody can get on a roller coaster and enjoy it. Some people literally, the moment it starts moving, they're like, "Oh my god, I'm going to die." It's not just like nerves. It's literally physical reactions because their brain chemistry and equilibrium doesn't process things the way yours does. I mean, it's just chemical differences between person to person.
But I don't
people have that problem. Other people like the sequel trilogy.
But see, I don't get like that though on roller coasters or anything like that, or even like some people get it in an elevator. I only get it on the VR headset. Honest to God, like when you're like the one game with the little robot Astrobot, when he goes down the slide and it gets to the bottom, and like it's like when the elevator comes down, it does that little thing and your stomach goes up and down. I don't know how to explain it, but when you go down there, that does me in every time, and I don't understand because I don't get I can do looping roller coasters, spinning rides all the time, and I don't get motion sickness. But that
it's just a glitch in the matrix, man.
It just does
glitch in the matrix. That's all it is.
Yep.
So I think we can move on. We've got some Arcade 1-Up news, I believe, right, Doug?
I mean, it's news in the typical fashion sense that Arcade 1-Up, always has a product kind of show up unannounced out there in a retailer. It's like, hey,
I like the
this
banner.
week it's the track and field adjustable stool. I mean, clearly it's a good looking stool, but
look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a placeholder, obviously. I don't know why I always have to explain that to people, but they're like, oh my god, anytime I ever post something like this, they're like, oh, it's out of stock. I'm like, it's a freaking placeholder, people.
Calm down.
They're like, no, it says out of stock. I'm like, I understand it says out of stock, but it's a freaking placeholder. But anyways, we got a placeholder for the Arcade 1-Up track and field stool. Last summer, we were talking about all the leaks throughout the Randy's Records UPC listings. Of those leaks, everything has come to fruition except one. One singular product on that has not yet come to market, and that is, of course, the Arcade 1-Up track and field cabinet. Not going to pretend it doesn't exist because it clearly does exist. Got a mock-up for you in the thumbnail right there. Obviously, things can change, and I guarantee they will because I know for a fact they do not have the ability to have the actual side art that was used in the the original track and field arcade cabinet. That is not allowed to be used, so they will have to do some, Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary type of photoshopping where they change the side art completely in one shape fashion. I mean, they could rearrange things and try to make a knockoff version if they wanted to, I guess, but in reality, it's not going to be the original arcade art. It's just not going to happen. So if you're one of those people that truly cares about arcade authenticity for your arcade one-up cabinets, well, you'll be sorely mistaken, because that's just not going to happen for you. Likelihood of games on this cabinet, obviously track and field, hyper sports, maybe Konami 88 if you're talking, those are your 3 Konami Olympic theme arcade games. And if Arcade 1-Up follows suit with their previous history, they'll throw on the NES version of track and field and call it a 4th game, added value, and they'll give you a 10 sign and that $90 stool and charge $649.99. Oh, and they might give you a light up deck protector that everybody hates and nobody wants, and again charge you another $50 for that added value. But
tell us how you really feel.
I don't know, no, I mean, it's just the thing, it's a hard sell to begin with, because number one, they've already established, hey, we're going to move forward with our prices, we're going to be more of a premium brand, whether people realize that's what they're doing or not. But there's only so many games you can throw on this system that make sense, specifically with the control layouts and everything like that. So to do that, they're not going to go backwards and say, oh, we only got 2 or 3 games to throw on this, let's charge $299. They're not going to do that. So to get in the normal price point where they're living now, they're going to throw in all those added value type of things, like the stool, the 10 sign, or the mat or whatever that you put under your feet so your knees don't hurt for hours of playing that. All I care about is if they do this. I don't care about all that other perceived value add-on bullcrap that they're going to try to shove down people's throat. If they try to sell you this machine and it doesn't have frickin' leaf switches,
yeah, you can't
avoid this like the frickin' plague.
Yeah.
And I would love to be optimistic and say Arcade 1-Up would never do that, but I'm a fan of their products. I'm not a fan of their business decisions, and I understand they like to make money, obviously, and to make as much money as possible. Sometimes they would have to make concessions. I would highly suspect that one of those concessions would be leaf switches, and they would just use the normal standard Arcade 1-Up push buttons and the cruddy micro switches that they've been using for years, because they don't have to buy any more SKUs of anything. They don't have to store anything in a warehouse. They don't have to have this one-off or one cabinet that they're only ever going to use one time. So I would suspect, as much as my heart would love to see them do it right, I would suspect that they're going to use the wrong button setups, and maybe they do another shortcut. Maybe they do the trackball version, because that was something that happened in the arcades because of the button mashing that this game went through. There was a trackball variation of the track and field arcade cabinet. Maybe they can do that, but
maybe they can get the license for the old NES pad. You just step on, you just hit it on the panel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I agree. There's certain games where micro switches are not going to be ideal, or mushy buttons are going to be ideal. And for that game and for that price point, leaf switches is the way to go. But also, they're not very common anymore. So, and they're also not the most robust. They don't last as long.
No, like micro switches are great for little to no maintenance, but for the actual gameplay experience, you want those freaking leaf switches specifically for that. I mean, there's a reason people are putting out their pencils and their greaser combs on the arcades back today to try to like roll it back and forth really quick to play this game. And I think a lot of people probably look back on this game specifically with like those rose-colored glasses. They're like, oh, I used to love track and field. I think it's one of those things where if you pay $650 and you start playing this, specifically if they start using or continue to use those crummy micro switch mushy buttons that they already have used, I think you're really going to hate this game, and you're really going to be upset with your $500, $600, $700 purchase. So
unless you're buying it to mod it, unless you're literally buying it to mod it.
I never liked
the thing, though. Like if you're spending that kind of money, you shouldn't have to mod things to make them perform adequately. Like modding to improve your personal preferences, yes, that's one thing. Like if you want it to light up and do all these cool things, sure, more power to you. But to spend the money that they're asking these days just to make something functional as it should have been out of the box,
well, you know they're going to mod it anyway for the artwork. If it doesn't have the right artwork, people are going to flip out anyway. So one way or another, they're going to be doing those type of things. So if you're a real fan of the machine, they're going to spend that money. They're going to play it for a little while and go, yeah, and then they'll add the other things to it. But I agree. For that price point, it's completely doable. It is. But we all know how it's going to play out, and people are going to have to do it that way.
Yep.
And real quick, I did get a I did get a super chat. Wait. I got a super chat. Me. Hold on a second. Hold the phone. JLS Gaming. Sadly, I've fallen out of love with Arcade 1-Up cabs. Shout out to the community. Oh, shout out to Community Blue. Thanks, JLS Gaming. That was really nice. That was really, really nice. I got it. Hey, I got a super chat, guys. I think my cherry just popped.
Oh my.
Thanks, JLS. You're the best, man.
So is.
Hey, and also on
You
that
feel
note,
better?
I do, but it's also on this note, it's the bottom of the hour. You know what that means?
What time is
Time
it?
for Game of the Week.
I'm back once again with another Game of the Week. And what am I taking a look at this time? It's Exidy's Venture. Venture is a fantasy-themed action game released in the arcades in 1981 by Exidy. The goal of Venture is to collect treasures from a dungeon as a round smiley face named Winky. It was released as a launch title for the ColecoVision in 1982 and then ported to the Atari 2600 and Intellivision by Coleco. Winky is equipped with a bow and arrow and explores a dungeon with rooms and hallways. The hallways are patrolled by large tentacle monsters named Hall Monsters, which cannot be killed, injured, or stopped in any way. Once in a room, Winky may have to kill monsters, avoid traps, to gather the treasures. If he stays in a room too long, a Hall Monster will enter the room and chase and kill him if caught. In this way, the Hall Monsters serve as the same role as Evil Otto in the arcade game Berserk.
Humanoid.
The more quickly the player finishes each level, the higher their score. The goal of each room is only to steal the room's treasures. In most rooms, it's possible, though difficult, to steal the treasure without defeating the monsters within. Some rooms have traps that are only sprung when the player picks up a treasure. For instance, in the two-headed room, the two-headed entities appear the moment the player picks up the prize. Winky dies if he touches a monster or a Hall Monster. Dead monsters decay over time and their corpses may block room exits, delaying Winky and possibly allowing a Hall Monster to enter. Shooting a corpse causes it to regress back to its initial death phase. The monsters themselves move in specific patterns, but may deviate to chase the player, and the game's AI allows them to dodge the player's shots with varying degrees of intelligence. For example, the snakes in the surfing room are relatively slow to dodge arrows. The trolls in the troll room are quite adept at evasion. The game consists of 3 different dungeon levels with different rooms. After clearing all the rooms in a level, the player advances to the next. After 3 levels, the rooms, patterns, and the monsters repeat, but at a higher speed and with different set of treasures. The different dungeons in each level are as follows. In the first level, there's the Wall Room, Serpent Room, Skeleton Room, Goblin Room. When you head down to the second level, you have the Two-Headed Room, Dragon Room, Spider Room, and Troll Room. When you make it to the third dungeon, you have the Genie Room, the Demon Room, the Cyclops Room, and the Bat Room. The ColecoVision version of Venture was reviewed in Video Magazine in its Arcade Alley column, where its graphics and sound and backgrounds were praised. Reviewers predicted that the game's complex play routine and strategies, which had made the game seem out of place in the arcades, would guarantee home release success and popularity. It would go on to receive a certificate of merit in the category of Best Arcade to Home Translation at the 4th Annual Arcade Awards. Creative Video and Arcade Games in 1983 complained of the repetition of the first 3 levels after completing them, but said otherwise the ColecoVision Venture was just as enjoyable as the arcade version. Jan Yarat reviewed the ColecoVision version of Venture in Space Gamer number 58. Yarat commented that, "I wish the designer was credited. He deserves it. The cartridge is a lot of fun and should remain one of our favorite for years to come. I highly recommend it." Now, in typical ColecoVision fashion, the ColecoVision port was far superior to the Intellivision and Atari ports. In all fairness, the graphics on the ColecoVision was far superior, but these ports, as usual with Coleco's other games, looked a lot worse because they wanted you to see the graphical superiority of the ColecoVision. And I can't totally disagree. I love the ColecoVision port of Venture. So that's it. Thank you once again for joining us for another Game of the Week. See you next time. Remember, in the meantime, tell your family and friends that you love them, And remember, above all else, remember to game on.
So that's it for this week. I mean, Adventure's a great game, but I got to say one thing about that game is the joystick in it. The joystick was the most unresponsive joystick I think I ever used in my life. And I can't say it was the cabinet I played because I played multiple versions of that game. And I don't know what there was with that joystick, but it just never kind of went the way you went and you got murdered. But very fun game. And if you ever do want to play it, the ColecoVision port is actually a really good port of it. It's enjoyable game.
What was the game that also had bad controls? It was kind of like Operation Wolf, kind of, where you go through and you had to use the spinner to rotate the gun, and then
you know, Arcade 1-Up Tempest Generation 1?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. It was
Generation 2?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I forget what it was. Now, but that was another one that the controls were hard to use, where you had to turn your character by using the spinner. And
You're talking about Akari Warriors?
Akari Warriors, that's what it was.
There you go.
Yeah, see, you knew what it was.
You know what?
Arcade
fun fact. I don't know if anyone else had this problem. When I used to play that game, I got zapped like constantly. Maybe it was the machine. The ground was bad. Did anyone else have a problem using the rotary thing and you kept getting zapped from it? I mean, literally zapped.
Are you really having an authentic arcade experience if you're not slightly getting electrocuted for your quarter?
I guess not. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God. I can't. All right. This is historic. This is an historic day. We can write it in the calendar. I got another super chat.
No way.
I am shocked. And it's like a lot of money. So I'm like, I got to talk about this one. So this is from Goofy Foot. Kudos on your trackball spinners and Tron stick. I have them in 3 cabinets. Just purchased another Tron stick for the Arcade 1-Up Gorf cabinet in progress. Well, first of all, thanks. Thanks for the super chat and thanks for the product support. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm on a roll.
I think
put
Glenn
me on a piece of bread, man. I am buttered and I'm on a roll.
Glenn, I think, paid this guy, and he's just giving the money back to make just so he could go down in history as he got one. Right? What do you think, Doug?
I got two. I got like 2 at once. More women have had it tonight. That's awesome.
I'm gonna let it lie.
Just let that one. You know what? Forget I said anything, Doug. What do we got next?
All right, so we got another update. This is the first of the year update from Zen Studios through their monthly pinball show. It's called that. I almost called it weekly, but it's not weekly. So basically, this was the first time we got a look at the interface of their new platform, Pinball FX, which, number one, absolutely hate the name. You went from Pinball FX2, Pinball FX3 to Pinball FX. You drop the numbers. It's that Xbox naming structure that just drives me crazy. But anyways, regardless, it's their new platform that's going to be coming out next month. Got a little bit of a look at what it looks like. If you're familiar with the Star Wars VR for the Oculus system, basically you're going to be quite familiar with the Pinball FX. It's going to have a 3D environment where you can have your unlocked trophies and achievements and things like that shown in the background on the wall. You're going to have the ability to play the new Indiana Jones table. But yeah, here we go. This is what you're going to be, greeted with in this new platform. So it's going to be a completely new user interface. So if you're accustomed to Pinball FX3, and you're going to be migrating and jumping over to this new Pinball FX platform, well, it is going to be a little bit of a culture shock because clearly it is a night and day difference. Is it going to also
run at 10 frames a second here? Is that what it's going to do?
Hopefully not, because it is, built for the new Unreal Engine system. It's utilizing ray tracing and all the newest technology. So obviously, if your computer can handle it, you're going to have a fantastic experience. But they were still tight-lipped about a lot of details. Specifically, will there be VR support in the future? Will there be 120 frames per second? Things like that. They said, they're still got irons in the fire, so stuff is still kind of being worked out. This is not final. They were very quick to say that because all the fonts, the textures, and things like that, like tournaments there, the font may completely be different in the final end look of the system, so to speak. But anyways, it'll be a big change for the FX3 users and not so big change if people have already downloaded things like Star Wars VR Pinball for the Oculus.
That's what I was going to say. It almost like that was the set for the setup for this. I was more focused on the bad lighting for the guys that were doing the girl and the guy going back and forth. They had some really harsh lighting on them. I'm sorry, that was just something that caught my eye. I'm like,
It's a low production. I mean, it's just it's their way
bothered
to
me.
communicate with the community. But they did also mention they'll have new kind of payment structures. So previously, you would buy tables in packs, so like a Williams table volume 5, it would come 4 or 5 tables, something like that. They said you will no longer have to be restricted to that type of thing. You can do some a la carte type of things, or you can get part of their pass system. I forget what their official title was, but they'll have a pass system where you can sign up, pay a fee, and then you're getting all the games as they come out. You don't have to wait for them to get bundled in with Williams or what other licensor, things like that. So if you want all the newest tables, the moment they are available, something like that's probably going to be what you're interested in. But it's a couple weeks away, and then we'll be able to play Indiana Jones at the very least.
It looks nice.
I'm excited for that.
It does look nice.
It does. I'd like
All
an
right,
Indiana Jones arcade 1-up pinball.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I would like a table. like
as
that. I think
long as
it'd be
that
good.
relationship still exists. I mean, Arcade 1-Up, there's a ton of great Williams licenses that have yet to be released in digital pinball
True.
form from Arcade
True.
1-Up. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there's still, stuff that they can use.
All right, I got to stop you guys again. I'm on a roll. I'm telling you. I got 2 more super chats.
Oh my goodness.
This is like, I don't know what's going on today, but I got one from Juan. He just wanted to join the super chat fund, so I appreciate that. That's what he said. And also, Charlie Chuck, he said to give the hat trick. What did he say? To give you the hat trick tonight.
Yeah,
Okay.
because in hockey, when you get 3 goals, it's called a hat trick, and because you got 3 super chats, you got a hat
But
trick.
now I'm at 4 though. So what is
Sports.
4?
Well, now you got number 4, yeah, because somebody.
4.
yeah.
What? Wait, I got another one. This is crazy now. I got another one. Oh, it wants to know where. Okay, JLS Gaming wants to know where Retro Babe is. She crashed. My AI crashed, man.
He
She's
got tired of
not
paying
working.
for her. Don't listen
Yeah.
to him. He sent her back where he got her. He got tired of paying for her.
I
Jeez.
pay for a lot of things.
Well, either way,
Guys,
I
thank
think
you.
I think that looks like a pretty good deal. I mean, the lobby and stuff. I think it looks good. It's more modern, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's progress one way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. Like I said, it'll be interesting when we find out more of those intricate, nitty gritty details, like cabinet mode support, what that looks like, what new features that'll have, future features like 120 frames per second, VR, all those type of things. That truly, bring it up to the next level of gaming performance and modernization, so to speak.
Mike in the chat room says he loves his Star Wars pinball on his Oculus. He wishes there was more ways to play it. Hang on, it scrolled down past me here because there's a lot of.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
just going to say that he keeps it on the right side against the wall.
I wish there was
loves
a.
pinball.
I wish there was a way to play retro arcade machines in the same environment. He didn't say nothing about the artwork. Get out of here. It's
You're blocking it. You're covering it
come
up.
on.
Whitewash.
Jeez.
Well, that's a good thing about the At Games pinball, though, isn't it? You can play pinball on it. You can also play regular games on it, right?
Yeah, but he's saying about he plays it on his Oculus. That's that's the VR.
Yes.
So Glenn's not up on the newfangled technology yet.
Not yet, but I'm going to. I definitely want to dip my,
Yeah.
my tootsies into VR. The only VR I have right now are the ones you put your cell phone in, which is not quite the same. I don't think.
Yeah.
No, slight differences.
I mean, listen, the VR concept, I think we're going to see a lot. I mean, that's why Facebook has gone with the whole the metaverse. It's going to be like you're going to do.
That is all right.
It is stupid. No. It is a
Tangent.
stupid name. But what I'm saying is, I understand the concept behind the business model to be able to put a VR headset on, go shopping in a virtual world, and I mean, imagine social media where you're seeing holographic images of the people that you're following instead of seeing pictures anymore. It's the actual 3D rendering of that person.
That sounds awful.
Believe it,
People need to go outside, interact with human beings.
Nintendo started it all with the Miiverse, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to live in the world that Wall-E predicted, where everybody's like 400 pounds, running around in freaking hover chairs, standing at VR screens.
It's intriguing,
I don't want
Doug.
that.
You got to admit it is intriguing. It's not necessarily something you want to do, but it is intriguing.
All I'm going to say is Facebook is the dumbest company ever for basically killing the Oculus brand name as a whole, because that's what they did. They literally wiped the Oculus name off the face of the planet. So all that brand recognition, all that, item consumer recognition out there in the market no longer exists. If you want to go to Oculus's Twitter account or anything like that, guess what? It doesn't exist anymore. Everything has been wiped completely. Everything is the metaverse. That Oculus headset, if I hold this up and say, hey, you know what this is? Somebody will go, oh, it's an Oculus headset. No, it's a metaverse headset. No, it's an Oculus headset. But Oculus no longer
billions
exists
for it.
Well, it'll be rebranded.
Such a stupid. You don't rebrand something; it's already well established.
Listen. Mark has some deep pockets. He don't care about a few bill that he had to brand Oculus to get you
it's the
to get
silliest thing ever. You can call the next iteration the metaverse headset or whatever. You don't try to You don't call the PlayStation 5 something new after it's already been out there in the market. You just don't do that.
Listen, when investors come in and they say, you're going to call it this, you say, yes, sir. How many do you want me to call it?
How many billions we talking about? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Doug, I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't disagree with you.
Glenn's on his way. He's got like 4 super chats, so he's like,
no. I didn't want to
keep that money coming. He's like, I'll say what you want, This puppet will talk.
I didn't want to say it, but I got another super chat.
Oh, that's it. We're deleting you. Wait, I'm
making a killing here.
Where's my hand? Let's get him off. Look, we're gonna get Glenn off the screen here. We're getting him off, but we're gonna get Boba Fett to pull him off the screen. We're getting him off.
There you go.
There, we're getting him out of here.
Well, yeah, we got to announce the super chats.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So Paul Berry said, "Why pay for AI when you can apply yourself? You can probably get AI for free. Thanks for all the fun, boys. Is enjoying the show."
There you go.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Well, I keep trying to get my Google and Alexa to talk back and forth. They do not like each other.
No.
They will not. Google is a little more respectful. Google will try.
Yeah.
Alexa just does not acknowledge Google at all.
But I understand what you're saying, Doug, even with that whole thing, because I think it's a stupid name to begin with. But like you said, when you go out and you purposely put it in your marketing plan to get people to use this device as the Oculus, and you invest a lot of money into paying for that marketing with content creators, with commercials on TV, and then you pull the plug, stupid.
And you rename it entirely. I don't get it. But whatever.
But I understand.
It's their money to burn.
But I understand where they're going in the future with it. And if you haven't looked up on it, I know this isn't a tech show, so go look it up. It's very intriguing, even if you're not into VR and you're not into augmented reality and things like that. But it is very interesting. So let's talk about Dwayne. Can we talk about Dwayne?
The Rock.
So yeah,
Dwayne.
we talk about The Rock. So I want to preface this first of all. So there was a interview, I want to say it was like Men's Health or whatever. Basically, The Rock dropped a quote that said he's working on making a movie for a well-established video game franchise that he's been playing for years. To summarize the quote, and
Dwayne.
Like, oh my goodness, what is this game? What is he talking about? So Giant Freaking Robot came out and said, hey, we know what he's talking about. We know the game. It's Call of Duty. They are the only person that is saying they know the game. And I'll give you background on Giant Freaking Robot. They are notorious for being inaccurate with their information and clickbait articles and things like that. So you can take it with a grain of salt. Do I think it makes sense that he would be making a Call of Duty game over all the other franchises? Yes. It's the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. It's one of the most recognizable gaming IPs out there. Plus, you can literally make up whatever story you want, and people aren't going to go, oh, they didn't stay true to the game. All you need to do is shoot people in the face and call it Call of Duty, and it's good. So, I mean, it doesn't need to be like this crazy, intricate storyline. Now, there's other ones that people are like, oh, I hope it's God of War, I can see, The Rock playing Kratos. That'd be a good fit. He's got the build for it. That's one of those things where you would want to stick close to the storyline of the games or something like that. And if you didn't, you would upset fans. So this would be the safest bet, as if The Rock is doing a Call of Duty movie. It's just a plain Jane action movie with Call of Duty as a title. But
can I ask
either way,
you? Can I ask you something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not to interrupt, but how do you do a Call of Duty movie unless it's based on, like, say, Cold War? Like, that whole movie is based off the Cold War. and so they would have to do multiples of this, and they would have to call it.
You just make a modern war movie and call it. Like I said, it's the easiest freaking movie to make. It writes itself. You just take generic war action of modern.
But all the Call of
times,
Duty fans
put The
will
Rock
be
in it.
pissed if it has no.
All the
basis
Call of
of the
Duty
games.
fans that are yelling at their mom from the basement for new Hot Pockets.
Yes.
While they're like getting Mountain Dew Code Red stains on their
Yes.
shirt. Is that what you?
Yes.
No, they're not.
They're gonna be. They're
First of
gonna be
all,
screaming.
They're not going to be screaming because number one, their voice is still cracking. You know, puberty's a bitch. But like I said, it's the movie. That's the safest one. You can make whatever story you want out of the Call of Duty franchise.
You couldn't call this Call of Duty without it being referenced to a game. You might as well call it G.I. Joe.
100%. That's what I'm saying. You could have renamed the G.I. Joe movie, which he was brought in to save, which still floundered, Call of Duty, and it would have been the same. Like nobody would have been like, "Oh, it wasn't a Call of Duty movie." Well, it was The Rock, it was guns, it was Call of Duty. It doesn't need to be anything crazy to be a Call of Duty movie.
Chat room, help me out here.
Yeah.
Am I right? Come on. This has to be, call it Vanguard, okay? Call it Call of Duty Vanguard, reenact the game, which was a great game. It is a great game.
I mean,
it's a great game.
Steven, first of all, how many people are even familiar with the story modes of most of these Call of Duty games? Very few.
I mean, that's all I play.
I'm not to say there's.
That's all I play.
Well, you are the minority, and I know you know that. The majority plays nothing but the multiplayer. So that's what I'm saying. You could literally make these story about whatever, set it in whatever time frame. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be a generic war movie if they want to play it safe. Now, if they do something else, like I said, God of War, I'd love to see that.
Well, Dwayne is also going to be in Fortnite. He's being released as a skin next week, I believe it is. Somebody in the chat room confirmed that with me, but he's going to be a character that you can get next week.
The Rock is the most in-demand human being in all of Hollywood. How he's able to divert time away from all the multiple things he does to accomplish what he does is nothing short of amazing. I mean, the guy's in movies, television shows, popping back and forth and other entertainment things. He does stuff behind the camera, in front of the camera, all sorts of crazy stuff. So, like, I mean, if you put The Rock in the movie, there's a good chance it will be successful. It won't make billions of dollars, but by God, it'll give you a good starting chance. Obviously, video game movies have a pretty terrible repertoire.
Rampage
in the past
was good. He was in that one. I enjoyed.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody says here.
Hollywood has already established, hey, everybody loves The Rock. It doesn't have to be a great story. Just throw The Rock in there. He'll smile. He'll show his muscles. People will laugh, buy the popcorn, and everybody wins. So it makes perfect sense they would want to tap into that.
Dwayne Johnson now. We had Schwarzenegger. We had Stallone in the day. We had Van Damme back in the day. They need someone now, and he's a perfect fit. He's a nice guy.
But they have to brand the movie. It can't just be Call of Duty wide open like that. You just can't do that. It has to be like it has to be like Cold War or Vanguard.
I agree with Doug.
Just like you can't call it. Come on. Chat room's even saying that. You just
can't call those
do
movies
that.
Star Wars 7, 8, 9, but they did. You could definitely call this Call of Duty and leave it as it is.
Steven, have you seen the Mario Brothers movie?
Yes, unfortunately.
Have you seen the Double Dragon movie?
I don't know if I've seen the Double Dragon movie.
How about the Dragon
I saw the
movie?
awful Mortal Kombat
that's
movie that just came out. The one that they claimed was going to be better than the original, which was
that's
horrible.
what I'm saying. There's a very low bar set for video game movies. Like,
I get it.
You're trying to make Call of Duty sound like it's an Oscar-winning storyline.
Call of Duty is not
it
a
changes
video
every
game.
year.
It's not a video.
It's interchangeable. It's just somebody shoots somebody else, or terrorist does this, or insurgent does this. I mean, it's all the same.
Yes, it's based on reality.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to have some profound story. Give The Rock a gun, point the gun away from him, and the movie writes itself. That's all I'm saying.
They already did that. It's called Fast and the Furious, or what do they call it now? Fast 5.
Fast 10.
Fast 10, yeah. They don't need to do that again with him. They've done that. It sort of worked. Kind of. Depends who you talk to.
Yep. Oh.
I mean, obviously, listen, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but I think, honestly, I think if they did, Modern Warfare 2 was probably the best Call of Duty so far, and they're remaking that. They're going to remake Modern Warfare.
That might be a negative for you, Steven. When you make a movie based off a specific title, there are expectations from the
Well,
audience.
no,
That's what
because
I'm
then
saying.
it opens the
You know?
door. It opens the door for sequels. It opens the door for
yeah, but-
sequels.
Look at the Resident Evil series. They were based that off of the games. Had nothing other than the first one was loosely.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with it.
Right? No,
Nothing.
They
I
made 6 of
To
them.
me,
I get it.
to me, it pisses me off when I'm expecting to see the game.
I have
on
all
the
of them.
screen. It's got nothing to do with it.
I listen. I agree with you on that. I'm not gonna
Well,
lie.
you can make a Star Wars movie that's got nothing to do with Star Wars and claim, it's the best stuff ever. Suck.
No.
But I see your point, but I think it's wrong to limit the title to a specific game. Call of Duty, you don't really have too much expectation. You kind of know what it's going to be about, but no expectations of how the story should go. And how Hollywood makes crappy movies, that's probably the better way to do it.
Doug, we have one final news article before we get to the game of the week here, really quick. What do we got here?
So, I mean, first of all, this is going to sound worse than it really is, but it's still sad. So Sega is pulling out of the arcade amusement business hosting. So this is going to, your knee-jerk reaction when you see this.
Out is bad.
Yeah, you're going to go, oh my goodness, Sega's no longer making arcade games. That's not the case. Sega is no longer hosting arcade facilities and running an arcade business, so to speak. So they were already on, a teetering leg. I think they had only had like 15% stake left that they hadn't sold. They finally said, all right, after 50 years, we're no longer going to be running arcades as a business. We're still going to make arcade games and manufacture them, things like that. But as a physical business, we're done. COVID has been too bad. It was a year and a half ago. I think they closed their biggest Sega arcade venue, which was at the Akihabara location. It's the giant one that we just saw there that everybody thinks of when they think of the Sega arcades in Japan. It's a 4-story facility. It takes up half a city block. It's huge. So after 50 years, there will no longer be a Sega themed arcade in Japan. It'll be renamed, rebranded, and everything like that. Like I said, the plus silver lining here is that they're still going to be manufacturing the actual machines, but this is not a good sign because what comes next is, hey, if we don't see enough profitability in running arcades, why are we going to continue to make arcades? So it's another sad side effect of COVID and just people.
I think we're going to see that across the board.
There's time to rebound, but that window is closing. I mean, I still don't see us going back to normal in 2022, to be honest. I still see what we're doing now as being the norm, which is going to suck for all those type of venues. You're too close to people, and people don't feel comfortable.
I've often said it's going to be like 10 years before everybody feels normal.
I agree.
Again.
I mean, it's not a phase; it's an era. Like just like
that's
the Great
right.
Depression was an era. This is going to be an era that has lasting ramifications, and unfortunately, the things we took for granted are going to be things like this that we didn't know and appreciate enough. And I mean, Japan was one of the few places in the world where the arcade industry didn't necessarily die off like it did here. I mean, clearly barcades and things like that still exist in the States, but for the most part in Japan, arcades, while they're still not as profitable as they were in the 80s and 90s, didn't go away like they did here in the States. Like they were still pretty much commonplace. So to see them finally going out in the place that, was their last ray of hope is not a good sign. It's a little bit disheartening.
Paul Barnes says, "What? This isn't normal?" No, unfortunately not.
Pour one out for Sega.
Yeah. Really quick, guys, before we wrap up, we have a new game alert. So right before the show kicked off here, I was telling Doug, I actually got in the mail this week's game, which is Uncharted, the Legacy of the Thieves collection, which is remastered for PS5. And I thought this was fitting because even Doug brought up about, The Rock. We just had that discussion. But Tom Holland is actually playing Drake in this movie.
Cool.
I'm really excited about seeing this. This is one of my, if you guys don't know the Uncharted series, This is one of my all-time favorite games. This was one of the games that got me to buy the PS3 back when it came out.
Yeah,
I have
it's a fantastic
every
game.
copy. Yeah, it's fantastic. But the benefits of this one, if you have the other ones, and why I bought it, is 4K. Obviously, if you're playing it on a PS5, 4K resolutions and things like that. Why would you want to buy it? Because it's remastered for PS5 and it's a good collector's series. So check it out. I think it just released either yesterday or it releases tomorrow, and I got it earlier. I don't know. I didn't really look at the date. I just pre-ordered it. So
Probably today. I mean, Friday makes sense. That's most video games.
if it was GameStop, I'd be able to tell you when it was coming out, because if I got it, then it came out a week ago. So
Was that guy rubbing that other guy's back in a very unnice way? Did I just see that?
January 28th, it says it's available. So there we go.
Yeah.
That looked uncomfortable.
You'll have to buy the game and find out, Glenn.
Yeah,
I
Glenn.
don't want to see that again. If that's what I just saw, I don't want to see that. He kind of rubbed his shoulders. It kind of gave him a look like, yeah, that's right. You're not gonna like tonight, buddy.
Did
I
you
didn't like that.
did you have any more super chats before we have to sign off that you
I
need
did
to
it.
read?
And I really appreciate super chat. You guys really don't have to do that. We really don't ask for super chats here. You know, we're just here for you guys. But I do want to say my Boba Fett, does Boba Fett suck? Is right on the cups. It's 48% say it sucks. 52% say it does not suck. So
You need
we
to
are
tell us. Wait a
divided.
second. You need to tell us when you're doing these polls, because I need to get one set up that we can do that's across the board, and Doug, and then we can combine the numbers, because I think you're skewing those numbers a little bit.
Hey, just because my fans know the right thing, man, I can't help that, man. I'm just saying.
Whatever you got to tell yourself to sleep at night, Glenn.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, I'm telling myself I didn't see what I saw in that Uncharted game. I want to see that.
I don't know what you saw in that, but either way,
He was rubbing his shoulders on the back of the motorcycle. It's like, yeah, that's right. I'm rubbing your shoulder. We're gonna do something. That was uncomfortable.
I don't think
That was
that's
very
what was
uncomfortable.
happening. But ladies and gentlemen,
That's-
Mr. Glenn Planamento, youtube.com/gplanamento. Any videos on the docket for this weekend?
Actually, yes, I should be dropping 2. One will be the.
We don't need to
New
know
Wave
about what you're
Toys.
dropping.
Well, New Wave Toys, new decal to repair or actually fix the bad artwork that came out on their 1943 cabinet, and also my Disc of Tron stick and push-pull spinner on the Arcade One of Tron should be also dropping this weekend.
Nice. So make sure you guys check it out. If you haven't, subscribe. And also this gentleman here, Mr. Douglas Smith, youtube.com/cooltoy. Do you have anything on the docket? I know you've been spending a lot of time with that pinball machine and rebuilding it, so to speak.
I'm going to say the
Rejuvenating.
same thing I say every week.
Cancel
Unsubscribe to Cool Toy.
Yeah,
Cancel Cool Toy. Don't watch his videos. He is a detriment to society, and move on.
He does cost me a lot of money. I will say that. So I'm not going to disagree with that. But no, if you're interested in seeing, Doug has been on his Jurassic Park pinball machine. He's been posting updates to videos. If you are into the real pinball and you want to see somebody meticulously take apart a pinball machine, I sit there and I shudder as I watch him do this, because I have no patience for that. I couldn't do that. Go check it out. Because he won't promote it, so I will. That's fine. Guys, we really appreciate you tuning in here, and we will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, and we'll have some good times like we've been. Till next time, guys. Keep it buzzing.